And here we have another interesting email from a fellow that has never been one of Jehovah's Witnesses, has not been associated. Let's see what his experience was when he encountered these folks. He wrote to me and also my buddy Joel the Unwitness. He said, "Hello guys, I'm sending this to both of you on your separate channels. Hi Joel and Eric, I hope that's right. It is right. That's my name. And the Unwitness, J.W. Struggles. Prior to this week, I didn't know much at all about JWs. I knew they drove me crazy knocking on my door on Saturday morning, and I vaguely knew they had some weird beliefs. Well, I ran across the video of you guys talking about Joel's encounter at a McDonald's with an awake elder. I was mesmerized. I binged watched yours and others' YouTube videos about JWs. I learned so much. I'm a mainstream Christian, but I have an interest in cults." Well, you've come to the right place, buddy, because in my opinion, the Jehovah's Witnesses are the largest cult in the world. They certainly have the most members. They have about 10 times as many members as Scientologists do. Quite a few more members than the Mormon religion does as well, which are two other lesser cults. Anyways, he continues along that vein. He says, "I've come to be a bit of a lay, almost expert on the Church of Scientology, or at least better than your average person. I have been astounded at the great similarities between the two cults. Yes, Eric, I'm the guy that sent you the putting my nose in your business message. Sorry, I hope it was as gentle and as affirming as I intended it to be." It was certainly no big deal. This fella had sent me an email, I don't know, week or two before, basically saying that there was some technical things about the videos that I do that he thought I could improve on, and he gave me some suggestions on how I could make my videos look better. And I appreciated it. You know, the bottom line is that I just, it's just a time thing. If I had more time, they would be more polished and all of this. I'm certainly not lacking in technical skill, since, making videos is something that I do, on a regular basis for my own, work and other things. Anyway, so that was all that was about. He says, "I must tell you this story. Tonight I was waiting for a prescription at a CVS, that's a pharmacy." He says, "Seated in the waiting area, I briefly chatted with a young woman, and we rejoiced that we both had faith in God, kindred spirits. I started reading on my iPad, and I heard her greet another man who had joined us. She mentioned that he had an aura. Now, she didn't use that word, but an aura of kindness and light in his unheard conversation with another person that she had witnessed. So my ears pricked up. They began talking about God and the Bible, and the next thing I know, he's telling her about a Bible app available on jw.org. So now I'm actively and unashamedly eavesdropping." Smiley face. He begins to give her some JW doctrine about Jesus. My heart started beating a little faster, and I got a bead of sweat on my brow. Boy, I can relate to that. I walked past some J-dubs a few months ago. They were at one of those tables. They didn't have the trolley cart. It was just a table with their, with the wash towel and other of their literature laid out on the table. And my heart just started to pound. And you know what? I wasn't interested in engaging them. I didn't have time anyway. But I thought, why does that get me so riled up? I'm sure a lot of us have experienced that, and I just, I want to get over that. That's just me, personally. So here, this fellow's having the same kind of, situation. He wants to speak up. He wants to say the right thing. Bless his heart. He says, "I felt compelled. I leaned in and said that the young woman and I had been chatting about Jesus earlier, and I thought that the two would disagree on Trinitarian doctrine. I spoke briefly and left them to it. While they continued to dialogue, I remembered words from both of you, and my heart was moved with compassion for this man. Thank you guys for helping me to change my heart and attitude." And thank you, Joel, because really, dude, you are the one that got that idea and have continued to keep that idea going. And I hope more people, pick up on it and do it. The email continues. He said, "I ended up leaning in again to talk about John 1:1 and following. He barely looked my way nor acknowledged me. I let them continue. He ended up playing a JW video on his phone. Thankfully, she was not swayed. In fact, she acknowledged later with a laugh and a couple of thumbs up I secretly gave her as she spoke. Believe it or not, all three of our prescriptions were ready at exactly the same time. Standing in line, I said to him, "I'm sure I annoyed you by interjecting in your conversation. If I offended you, I apologize." He smiled and shook my hand and said something friendly. I told him that the church at large has a lot to learn from JWs regarding training, preparing, motivating, and publishing. I used publishing on purpose because, well, just because. I was hoping to have the opportunity to direct my disapproval toward disfellowshipping. Of course, it's called disconnection in the Church of Scientology, which I feel is a violation of human rights and is abuse, and perhaps add a comment about the UN or 1975. The time didn't seem right. I told him we all have the right to interpret the Bible how we see fit, but his and my theologies were not compatible at all. We parted and I told him, "God bless you." Let me tell you, before studying under you guys, I would never have had that encounter, and I will ever see JWs in a new light. Once again, thank you. Well, thank you so much for your great email. And you know what? There's just so many of these stories out there, right? So many of these stories. And, what we're doing is we are inoculating the public, at the very least, to recognize cults when they see them, to ask questions, to challenge these folks in a respectful way, just like this gentleman did. So, thanks again for the great email. If you have any stories of your encounters with Jehovah's Witnesses, conversations you've had, and you feel like they'd be, positive to share on JW Struggle, let me know. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click the subscribe button so you won't miss any more videos to follow. Take care.
The order is rapidly fading, for the times they are a-changing.